Happy Heartstopper Day! Today is the release date for Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. This is a YA graphic novel series following the romance between Nick and Charlie. I'm so excited to be back with these characters and to be able to pick up my copy. In this spoiler-filled vlog, I'll be rereading Volume 4 and reading Volume 5 for the first time. Happy Vlogmas Day 8! Before I can start my read of Heartstopper Volume 5, I need to do a reread of Volume 4 because this is pretty much completely fallen out of my brain. It came out about 2 years ago. I read it when it came out. I haven't reread it since. I have a vague memory slightly of the way the ending goes, possibly, but I really can't remember much. So I feel like I'm getting 2 books for the price of 1 here in the sense of being able to do a reread that feels kind of fresh going into Volume 4. Even though it is a reread, it feels a little bit like a first time read, and then obviously Volume 5 will be my first time reading it. This vlog is going to contain spoilers for this series. It's going to be really difficult to talk about these books without spoiling them, so if you don't want those spoilers, if you haven't read this series yet, please don't keep watching and come back when you have. I started Volume 4 last night and I had to put it down actually because I was reading it too quickly. It's incredibly digestible. Alice Oseman's style is just so fun and easy to read, and the illustrations are just beautiful, but it also always deals with such important topics in a really digestible way for all readers, and I think that's what's so relatable and connectable with Alice Oseman's writing. We're on a beach with the Paris squad at the start of this book, and we've got Nick and Charlie both wanting to have 2 different conversations with each other. Charlie is wanting to talk to Nick about the fact that he loves him and he wants to tell him that and he doesn't know how. Nick is wanting to talk to Charlie about the fact that he thinks he might have an eating disorder and how to approach that with him. So 2 very different and sensitive topics that are already introduced as conversations at the start of this book, and how the characters are having these conversations. Being back with these characters, especially after the TV show, just feels really special. I think that the TV show was just fantastic. The casting was spot on, and having the graphic novel and the illustrations from this and then the actual cast and the actors in the show, I'm kind of merging them together and it's creating like a hybrid of the 2 in my head when reading this, and I love that because I just think the casting was spot on. The TV show is just so good. So this is the plan for today, reading both of these books. I'm so excited. I feel like we just waited so long for Volume 5. I can't wait. The feeling that this replicates of when you're at school and your partner goes on holiday with their family without you, I just remember that feeling like the longest time ever to wait for them to come back home again, and I think that this has captured that dread of them leaving so well. Like, I always remember counting down the days until they were going and feeling so sad about it, and then when they came back being really excited, and like, yeah, that feeling always feels like the longest thing in the world at that point. And also, Charlie said he loved Nick whilst Nick was in the shower, and it just, it's so cute. I am tearing through this. Like, this is literally going to be an hour or 2's worth of a vlog, but it's just so addictive. I love it so much. It's just so wholesome and lovely, and I love this series. Nick's mum, it's just the best. They've just had a conversation about how Nick can help support Charlie with his eating disorder and how he can help him reach out to his parents. And Nick's mum, there's this, I actually remember reading this part before. There was like a montage of all the different characters supporting each other and how that looked different for all of them, and there's a line at the end of the montage that says, sometimes people need more support than just one person can give. That's love, darling. And it just makes me feel a bit emotional because they're all supporting each other in different ways, and that's going to look different for everybody. I think this is one of the things that Alice Oseman does incredibly well, is creates these stories with these moral messages to them, and this help and advice that's threaded through the pages as well, and it always feels so real and so raw, and like it is a friend giving you advice or a loved one giving you advice, and I just think that that is captured so beautifully in this book. I finished Volume 4. It's a 5 out of 5 star read for me. I think I rated it that before, but it's just, It's just such a brilliant book. I love Nick and Charlie so much. I love all their friends. I actually forgot that Charlie has OCD and is diagnosed with OCD in this volume. So I'm interested to see how that's expanded into volume 5. I have OCD myself. I have contamination OCD and I've been diagnosed since I was about 14. I don't really deliberately read books where the main characters have OCD because I find it quite easy for my brain to take on a different form of an OCD tic, and it's something that I am very susceptible to, I would say. Like my brain just kind of clings on to someone else's OCD tic and it affects me, so I don't really tend to read books like that. But with this one, I feel like it's approached in a different way that I feel more okay with it, and I completely forgot that. So OCD representation in this, really looking forward to seeing how that's expanded into volume 5. The dinner scene in this, where Charlie and Nick's families come together and Nick wants to come out to his dad, the TV show doing that was so spot on. I had forgotten how spot on that whole scene was. Literally, whilst I was reading this, I was hearing the voices in my head of the actors acting that scene out because it was just so perfect, word for word, shot for shot. Everything was brilliant. Tori confronting Nick's brother, everything about it was just so brilliantly mirrored in the TV show. The TV show, the timeline is kind of a little bit different. Obviously, we've had season 1 and 2, whereas the events have been throughout volume 1 to volume 4. So I'm intrigued to see what season 3 of the TV show looks like. But I just love this book so much. I think it has so many important conversations, and there's a big part of this book that's talking about Charlie's eating disorder and his OCD and his mental health and the support for his mental health. And I really love the fact that it talks about being able to support the people you love, but also knowing that it isn't all on the person you're in a relationship with to support you, and that other people can be there for you as well, because I think it can feel quite insulating when you feel like that, and knowing what the support system is, whether it's therapy, whether it's friends, family, activities, journaling, so many different options that are going to work for different people. I think it just does a brilliant job of kind of showing that and showing the other options. Honestly, I think the Heartstopper series should be required reading for everybody because it just has so many moral lessons to it, and I just love it, and I just feel like it just feels so realistic, and that's what I love about the TV show as well. It just feels very real. I cannot wait to read volume 5. I feel like I'm going to tear through volume 5 like I did volume 4, but I want to try and pace myself and not read it too quickly because I just really want to appreciate it, because I feel like we've waited so long for this one. I'm so excited to see where we're at with Nick and Charlie. So 5 out of 5 stars for this one. I'm predicting a 5 out of 5 stars for volume 5, but let's find out. I'm ready for volume 5. We're going down the uni route in this one, I assume, because the back of the book says Nick and Charlie are in love, but what happens next? And then there's a picture of a laptop that says University Road Trip Itinerary by Tara L and Nick. So I think that's where we're going. I'm quite enjoying reading in my bedroom today. I usually read in my lounge and just sit in exactly the same spot. There's actually a dent in my sofa from where I sit now, so that's great. So I kind of thought I would just sit somewhere a little bit different and vlog from a different location today, and I've actually quite enjoyed it because it's meant that I've been in my office doing some worky bits in between reading and doing some sprints and then coming here to read, and I just feel like it's varied the day a little bit. So let's get going with volume 5. Alice Oseman hits again with the relatability because there is a sex ed class and it is shit at the moment. It's avoiding questions that people actually want to know the answers to, and it feels a hard relate. Nick's dogs are so cute. Tara L and Nick are visiting a couple of universities. They're on a university road trip. They've just been to Oxford, and I love seeing Alice Oseman's illustrations of Oxford. It's a place I've spent a lot of time, and seeing it come to life through the pages of this graphic novel just feels pretty cool. Alice Oseman has done a fantastic job of capturing the decision-making process when it comes to like picking universities and things, and I think reading that through this book is just reminding me of everything that I went through over 10 years ago now. It's just captured so well. Like, you know, the things you're worrying about what it is that you really want to study at university, what everyone else is kind of telling you should study, what, like the decision of you thinking what you should study versus what you want to study, and really what you should study is just what you want to study. And I think that that stress is captured so well in these characters and their different priorities as you're seeing all the different universities, and also the pressures of like, if you're in a relationship, long distance, and how that relationship will survive that. And you know, it's all the stuff that you are validly worried about at that point when you're going through this massive big change in your life. And I think that it's captured in a really brilliant way. I have a little tiny bit left. I said I was gonna try and pace myself, and I'm not pacing myself, so I'm gonna go finish this now. Well, I have finished volume 5 and it made me emotional. I'm not going to keep saying how well Alice Oseman captures just real feelings and real moments, but you know, it throws me back to feeling like that and going through the whole university process and having a relationship at that age and just everything. It just, oh. I've spoken about the university decisions and things being made within volume 5, but I haven't really spoken about the other big part of this plot, which is Nick and Charlie deciding that they're ready to have sex together. This is a big part of this plot, and I suppose probably where this was building anyway, and I probably should have got that from Nick and Charlie are in love, but what happens next? I kind of thought that meant like with the university, but now I see what that means now. I love a bit of sex positivity. There's a load of books down there all about sex positivity. I love it. It is incredibly important, and I think when done well in fiction, it's just even more important, and it's important that it is done well. My camera battery is flashing at me. I'm about to have a good heart-to-heart about the sex positivity in this book. Hang on. Okay, let's try that again. Sex positivity in this book. I love it when books have sex positivity. I just think it's such an important thing to be able to talk about, to break the taboo, and to also acknowledge that younger audiences of a certain age are going to want to know about this, and just hiding that information isn't going to do them any good. There's obviously like a limit within reasonable expectation to that, but I don't think that it does any good to hide teenagers from information, and I think the fact that this kind of touched on the shitty sex ed classes is just exactly accurate, because that is what school was like for me. I don't know if it's changed now, I really bloody hope it has, but I got a lot of my information from the non-fiction books that I have and from talking to people and experiences, and I just think that this book is going to help a lot of people kind of look at it in a different way that are maybe younger readers reading this. It does a fantastic job of showing the conversations that are happening around sex and having those conversations with your family and with your friends, and the open and honestness that comes alongside this, and the conversations between partners for this as well, and waiting until you're ready, and the kind of approach of that, and very much like doing what feels right for you and how that is okay for you. And I loved that. I think that just was approached in such a brilliant, careful, yet really well done way. Also, we had a scene where Tori came out to Charlie as asexual, and that felt incredibly emotional as well. I love the relationship between Tori and Charlie so much. Just generally, so much about this was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I've given it 5 out of 5 stars, of course. I am so excited and also sad for volume 6 because I know it's going to be the concluding one. At the end of this, we had Charlie going up for head boy, so I assume that he's going to get head boy, and then we're going to see Nick go off to university and them have their long distance relationship and how that works. And I really hope it does work. And then I'd love if we could get like 10 years time and we can just see them living their happy lives. I don't ever want to feel like I have to say goodbye to these characters, and I think through the TV show we're going to get an extended version of that. I had a great time reading this, and I really hope that you've enjoyed coming along on the reading vlog experience in my bedroom. We've just pretty much stayed in my bedroom the whole day, but it's been a good time. Another thing to add as well, just before I wrap this up, I love the friendships in this so much, and I love the fact that it is very much encouraging of like, you're not just, you know, with the person you're in a relationship with, you've got all your friends and you've got that support and your family around you as well, and not to just isolate yourself with the person you're in a relationship with, and that your friends can be a huge support for you as well. And I really like that it highlights that, because I think that's a really important thing as well. Okay, that's all my thoughts for Heartstopper Volume 5. I have absolutely had the best time reading both Volume 4 and Volume 5 today. I hope you've enjoyed watching this vlog. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you're enjoying Vlogmas. A massive thank you to my patrons. As always, your support means the absolute world to me. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.